Welcome back, people of the Most High God, Jesus Christ. So I was doing my research, right? I'm trying to find out how long this Abraham Accord peace treaty is, right? And by the grace of God, I came across a website written by a man by the name of Dean Combs, and I found this to be the best explanation of what's going on with the Abrahamic Accord. So I'm gonna read from his website, and let's see. I like his what he has to say about all this. So let's go. Okay. So it says he writes Monday, August 2020, Trump peace treaty. Iran 666 and 77s. 70 times 7. Okay, update on studies. Over the past several months, I isolated myself to study the number 23. I expect to soon begin writing again, this time in PDF format, so as to also publish them. Okay. In short, 23 is the priestly number of intercession and redemption that lengthens or shortens time. The number symbolizes covenant, in that all biblical covenants, accords, treaties are separated from one another by multiples of 23 years. In the biblical chronology, it is the key to redemptive chronology, to literally redeeming the time. However, this peace treaty announced today, August 13, 2020, warrants a quick word. So let's hear it. The Abraham Accord. Kushner's peace plan seems to be working. What was once unthinkable is now a reality. Quote from the National Interest. Okay. This treaty occurs about 3.5 years into Trump's presidency. 1,300 full days in office. In another 1,335 days, about 3.5 years, begins the 70th Jubilee of 49 years each. Since Israel entered the Promised Land in 1406 BC, this amounts to 3,430 years since 1406 BC. The 3,430th year ends the spring of 2024 to 2025. 3,430 years is 7 490-year cycles. Daniel 9. In the year of Jubilee, the earth is made to rest. Already the earth rests due to the coronavirus. Daniel's 70th week. The prophet Daniel refers to a covenant or accord that will be signed at the end of the age concerning a 7-year period between Israel and her enemies. This covenant will be broken in the middle of these 7 years. The middle of these 7 years amount to 3.5 years. The 7 years of the covenant is prophesied to occur at the end of a 490-year cycle, 70 times 7. 2024 through 2025 comes at the end of 7 cycles of 490 years. This is 7 times 70 times 7 years from 1406 BC, when Israel entered the Promised Land and the Jubilees commenced. The peace treaty is prophesied to occur at the end of the final 7 years. In this case, if signed, half of 7 years spanned. In this case, if signed, half of 7 years spans from September 2020 until March through April 2024. Succinctly, the Muslim and Jewish Civil New Year occurs August slash September this year, and the 360 Jewish and Iranian, I guess 360-day Jewish and Iranian New Year occurs in March, September 2024. The solar eclipse connection. The last half of Daniel's week of 7 years lasts 1,335 days. Okay, we'll read it. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will understand. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be a 1,290 days. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days. You shall rest. Concerning his second coming, Jesus said that there would be signs in the heavens. There happens to be 1,335 days to the North American solar eclipse in 2024 from the Abraham Accord. Moreover, the total solar eclipse occurs Nisan 1st, the religious Jewish New Year, April 8th through 9th, 2024, Jerusalem time. Abraham Accord to be signed this September 2020. Trump says the treaty should be officially signed this September at the White House. The exact same day when signed will be significant. Okay, note. What is said briefly in the following does not mean that this is the very covenant prophesied in Daniel 9. However, at the very least, it is a foreshadowing of it. Okay, so very important. It is a warning, if not more. So 1,335 days until the dark mark across the United States. The importance of the upcoming solar eclipses was already explained in earlier articles. So I suggest that you find this man's page and check out what he's talking about. Observe the dates and locations of the two marks. Okay. The two marks, X and X. The paths of 7 total eclipses in series 27 through 2038. I'm gonna have to look more into that subject. A string of seven total solar eclipses, each 3.5 eclipse years apart. 346 times 3.5. 2 crisscross North America and 2 the Red Sea. While this is not rare, what is rare is where and how this series land. Notice that the next solar eclipse to cross North America is on April 8th, 2024, the eve of religious Jewish New Year and 3.5 years after signing of Abrahamic Accord, if signed. Jerusalem time, the total solar eclipse occurs at Nisan 1st, the New Year, April 8th through 9th, 2024. This is exactly 1,335 days from August 13th, 2020, when Abraham Accord was announced. Okay. God marks an X over the, what does this say? These two eclipses likely mark X, the southern border of the land promised to Abraham. I'm giving this land to your descendants. Okay, yeah, Genesis quote. It depends on where along the Nile River God meant. The 2027 eclipse passes over a very long stretch of the Nile, and the 2036 eclipse reaches to where the Euphrates River empties into the Persian Gulf. The full X formed by entirely of both eclipses are symmetrical. Okay, so I guess this is the X. All right. Okay. God marks an X over the southern boundary promised to Abraham that reaches along the Nile River to the Euphrates. This image as seen here was created several years ago. Notice the mention here of the land promised to Abraham. That is the Abraham covenant. Recall Trump's Abraham Accord. Coincidence? Also, notice that in 7 years, the first total solar eclipse crosses Mecca, the equivalent of Jerusalem to the Muslim world. The second passes over Medina, the birthplace of Muhammad, equivalent to Bethlehem to Christians. Also note that the second eclipse crosses Iran. God has marked the future across the face of the whole earth. Soon I will demonstrate how all the covenants of God in the Bible are separated by multiples of 23 years. Okay. Okay, so look. My bad. Meek and mild Jared Kushner and 666. Hey, hey, he know. So, hey, yeah, see, I'm telling you, God be giving revelations. But look, for how Kushner adds up to 666 in Hebrew. Should we click there? I mean, I did a video on it. We'll come back to it maybe. The victory of Jared Kushner. This is a landmark agreement that deserves a closer look. First, no one believed that Jared Kushner's innovative peace plans would bear any fruit. Now Kushner's peace plan seems to be working. What was once unthinkable is now a reality. Second, it shows the power of the new rising generation, both in America and in the Middle East. Kushner said, we'll listen, I have been working on this very closely with President Trump over the last 3.5 years. So hopefully this loads. Well, if it don't load, it don't. I'll keep going though. The Trump treaty is with the United Arab Emirates. Trump says that this ends 49 years of hostility between the two nations. Yes, if this plays, I'll let it play. If not, I won't. Trump expects other nations to follow. It is called the Abraham Accord, a name rich in symbolism in the Bible. It was announced Thursday, August 13, 2020, but which on the 360 calendar of Bible prophecy, the Jewish calendar, the Arab Muslim calendar, and the Persian Iran calendar, all 4 calendars land on the 23rd of the month. Recall that my study the past 6 months is about the number 23 days and years, and the 23rd of the month, 23 symbolizes covenant agreement, just as 7 symbolizes perfection in the Bible. As far as I know, my studies about the number 23 was also completed that very same hour. It ended with the final revelation about the Noahic covenant and the delay of judgment. It is unusual for all 4 calendar systems to overlap this way on the 23rd of the month. For example, progressing forward using the month button on the calendar converter. The Muslim and Iranian calendars do not align again for another 66 months, let alone in alignment with all 4. Neil-wise, the day of location of common Neil-wise, the day of announcement of the tree. That commoners can symbolize a scepter. Ironically, it is located at the base of the outstretched olive branch of Virgo. Okay. The revealing of the 23 was also timed to common Neil-wise, heralded by NASA as the brightest in 23 years. Okay. Analysis of the treaty say that because their mutual enemy is Iran, this greatly encouraged the formation of the treaty. Recall that the date of the accord was on the 23rd of the Iranian calendar, as well as the Jewish Muslim. I guess, and I guess all of these people on the 360-year calendar, I guess. Back in December of 2017, a few weeks after Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem, I put out the below video concerning Iran, the 70 Jubilees, and the 666 of Jared Kushner and his peace treaty. If you skip to the end of the video, you can see that I heavily used the imagery of an atomic bomb. The Beirut bomb exploded in images reminiscent of an atomic bomb, and almost on the 75th anniversary of Hiroshima. The Beirut blast is likely another reason why Trump moved on the treaty now. The port was a door through which Iran sent armaments in its war with Israel. The leaders/shepherds of Lebanon resigned because of it. See Zechariah. The Beirut blast is considered to be one of the most powerful non-nuclear explosions in history. The news network and Trump's accredit Jared, son-in-law of Trump, as a major player in this treaty. See the latter part of the video. The first part of the video is admittedly dull, so please bear with to skip all of the end section about Jared and 666. If some of these videos play, I'll play. Let's see what he's doing on this. If this plays. I mean, my phone is acting slow, so let me see something. In fact, nowadays you gotta cut Wi-Fi off for it to work. It only go on like 5G nowadays. Matter of fact, now we're going to skip that. So yeah, he give some good some very good knowledge on this subject, and I don't think it's not a mystery that I came across this. I don't know. The man probably just he probably just put it out just to do his job, but hey, God just used this man to give me some knowledge to give to you. So he also got a YouTube page too. So I'm gonna leave the link to his page in my comment section. So be blessed in Jesus' name, amen.